This broadcast is inappropriate for all ages, right here on Gaming Division. This time for the play spot. Salutations, that's Cat, but I am Kamurai, and I am conversation ready. With me today is Thank Frank.
How you doing?
So this is the where we get together, we praise and love Frank for being part of the world and blessing us with all the goodies. Right, Frank?
I mean, if you got nothing better to do.
People's time is important. The worship and devotion you get as a living God matters.
Yeah, you get used to it.
I love the idea. Go ahead.
You become jaded to anything.
No, I love the idea like they're like the gods didn't like start with the universe, but like they built it. It's like in the 40K universe, the psychic energy manifested gods, and then like one of them happens to be like apathy, or like something.
Same.
Yeah, where it's just like whatever. Power of a god, and they just
Most
don't give a fuck.
believable one.
Oh, that's so great. And then like as a god that you would like feed off the power of people not caring, I guess.
Clearly, you'd be the most powerful god.
And that's why they exist, is because there's that much apathetic psychic energy. Oh my god, this is right up there next to the I don't know what we were talking about. We were talking about like getting out of hell for some reason, and in my brain like a video game started building.
Oh, we were talking about God of War.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about like the history of Kratos essentially. And
Yeah,
how...
so for anybody who doesn't want spoilers for the new one, I know nothing about it, I haven't played it yet. But in like all of the, at least in the main trilogy, and I feel like maybe some of the handheld games, I didn't play all of them. Pretty much Kratos dies in every game, and then he crawls his way back out of hell. Like really, they should just leave the door open for him. It's not worth the trouble.
Kratos, we installed an elevator
a different
for
guardian of hell. Like, on his way out. Like,
who's up for that
I don't know how they
job?
keep filling the position. Right? Yeah.
Is it like you start by killing Lucifer and then you kill like his replacement?
Well, because it's all Greek mythology, so like I don't think you actually fight Hades until the third one. You fight Cerberus at some point.
Well, okay, Cerberus
maybe.
makes sense because he's a guardian. He's like a legitimate guardian of the underworld.
Yeah.
But then like somebody else is like, oh, the dog's dead. I got to do it myself. And then Hades finally gets wind that like his subordinate gets killed and his dog. He's like, I'm gonna go handle this. And then Kratos kills him.
Yep.
Okay.
Spoilers.
Well, it's the assumption Kratos kills things. If
Yeah.
anyone's name exists in the same conversation as Kratos, I assume he kills him.
On that note, I have to say, in God of War 3, one of the most interesting camera shots that I've ever seen was killing Poseidon in second person during the opening sequence.
In second person,
Yeah.
as
After you complete the boss fight, because the philosophy of God of War, because they're one of the pioneers of, I guess, what people called good QuickTime events, was you did the fight, and your reward was, like, once you beat the boss, was this sequence of just getting to watch him decimate them with, you know, a little bit of QTE. And when you're murdering Poseidon to death, you get to see him beating your face in second person. Like, you experience it as Poseidon. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but like I'd never seen it before.
your camera view is Poseidon, but you're playing as Kratos, who you're watching.
Yes.
So okay, legitimate second view. I was gonna say like, there's not a lot of games that bother to do that, and I legitimately want to see more. Like I had come with like not a solid idea of one, but like the briefest thing of like, everywhere you walk around, there has to be someone else there to see you. Otherwise, you can't see yourself.
Right.
But I don't know what to do with that.
You could argue that like every fixed like camera third person game where, you know, every room is one specific shot is basically played in second person. If you came up with a game with basically identical camera angles and just fluffed in a person watching you instead, that would be second person.
Well,
You
see,
could
that's the
also have,
thing.
I guess,
It has to be a legitimate character, though. Like a camera is still a third-person view, but if it's another, if it's
cameras aren't conscious.
well, if the second point of view is an entity that's using the cameras, then I agree. But like, that's the idea: is that second person is like another person that you're interacting with. Because like first person is you, is I and me. Second person is you. So the point of view has to be coming from my point of view has to be coming from you. So you have to be another thing in the game that has its own perspective.
Right. Maybe you could have like an escort type game where you see it from the eyes of either, I guess, the person
That'd be so
escorting or being
hard.
escorted, and they just have to like follow you around always. I'd be nuts if it was a platformer.
It really would.
They'd have to match your steps.
Oh my god.
Just a
So
little bit behind.
so in my brain, this is what I'm thinking: is like you actually release a game that's called second person perspective or second person shooter, whatever you want to call it. And then the whole game is different game modes like that, where like one of them is protect the VIP, where it's like a first person shooter except the camera's stuck inside the VIP.
Hmm.
And
So
then
everybody else can only play with the information that the VIP can see.
yeah.
Oh god, that'd be so hard.
Yeah, it really would. It'd be an elitist game for sure.
I think in second, like a shooter, you'd really struggle because like those are just some nasty vectors to try and figure out. You can maybe do like a brawler or a beat 'em up.
And maybe that's
'Cause
a better way to go to Melee.
it just depends. Like I'm picturing like the ideal strategy being to get the VIP to some kind of security room and just have them looking at all of the monitors at once.
Ooh, that's not a bad way to go. And maybe like your character when it's not in view will autoplay itself. So that's kind of like a version of what's it called, cinematic cutscenes. So the VIP who you don't control is moving on a rail or something, but you're still following his perspective, and then all of a sudden your character shows up on a monitor or like looking through a window or something, and then you have to play it.
Hmm.
Like you
You could
wouldn't even...
also
Go ahead.
have it multiple. You could also have multiple characters
Yeah.
as well. You switch between whoever's visible to them at the time.
Yeah, so you could almost be like third person perspective from the viewpoint of the second, where it's like you don't have to have first person controls, but like the VIP is looking out this window at this other building while you run floor to floor killing everyone. And so like as you fade in and out of view, maybe that's where the different characters swap in and out.
Hmm.
That'd be cool. There's some really cool ideas in there. I think like games like what is it, Mystery Ninja or whatever, where it's like screen look. That's what I'm talking about. Kind of touch on concepts like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, the crawling out of hell thing. It's like I really want this to be a game now. It's like, but you've gotta, like, you start as a damn soul, and then you have to work your way out one way or the other. So either like you've got to like weasel your way out by talking your way here or there. You've got to take opportunities of breaks when they're done torturing you, or like you can like do something to become a demon yourself, and then that makes it easier. Because you got to keep it interesting.
Yeah, I could see that. What kind, like an open world or like a strategy game?
I would say
What
I
are you
would want to
thinking?
control the environment a little bit. Not make it an open. Oh, you mean open world as far as objectives go?
Yeah, like I mean like an open like RPG, like where you
Yeah.
walk around hell trying to accomplish things.
See, and in my head, it's more
Uh,
of a strategy management type thing. It's like it keeps track of events you do, and then a certain combination of events will open up certain other aspects of it. So you give you free choice, but it's not open world where you can just go wherever you want.
right. I imagine hell is not so open like that.
Yeah, I imagine it's a very confining place. Thus
Not
the
like it is
appeal
in
to escape.
Guacamelee.
Guacamelee. Oh yeah, I forgot I have that game. I don't think I've ever played it though.
It's fun. I don't know if I beat it. I think I beat it, and I told myself I was gonna go back and do like all the side stuff, and I didn't quite do all of it.
Are you trying to shoot for the platinum?
I guess as close as you can get on Steam. Like there's some
Okay.
interesting stuff. Like yeah, like the platinum sort of became the trophy became sort of the substitute for me for like the older style of just there was a bunch of like extra cool shit to go for
Mm-hmm.
after the game.
Yeah, Guacamelee
Uh,
definitely utilized that. I just never did it myself.
yeah, as long as there's new and interesting stuff to do, and it's not like play the game 5 more times to get one sword that
It,
kind of sucks.
it's the worst
Then
type of achievement. Yeah.
yeah, but you know, like completely new content. Like I can't for the life of me, I will never be able to remember what it was, but it was like some Flash game way back I played years ago. It was you know, it was relatively short. You know, it was like one guy made it, but then actually the majority of the content was post game. Like it was all there was just more story and stuff after the end of the story.
I like that
So
concept. If you can remember that game, I want to know.
yeah, I'll try to think of it. Like I said, it's probably I don't even know if it's still on the internet.
Yeah, no
But
worries. There's a lot of stuff that's come and gone. There's actually a game called The Seedling. I think that's what it's called. It's kind of like a Zelda clone. Like it's not a clone, like in full, but mechanically it operates like that. And it's actually really good. It feels like Zelda, if that makes sense.
which which Zelda like
Like Link to the
NES
Past.
top
Like
down, Game Boy top
yeah,
down? Okay.
that I guess it's isometric view. So it feels like that, and it's all in Flash or whatever, and it's really well done. And I think I saw like it in the news in the past couple months, but I wasn't able to find anything new on it. It's on Newgrounds, and I think it
Okay.
used to be on Congregate, but it may have came down. I was actually hoping it hit Steam finally. I was like, oh sweet, good for them, but
Oh yeah, good for them.
that would be.
Yeah, if it did, yeah.
Yeah, if it did, because
Um,
like again, not sure.
mm.
So
It's a shame that Flash got phased out. I feel bad for all those people that got really good at Flash animations and then, yeah, we're not doing that anymore.
yeah, that was kind of a weird decision, but I guess there's a point to it. There's got to be some kind of a border of efficiency.
Yeah, it
Um,
always made a lot of sense to me, like the frame by frame. Yeah, I took
yeah,
like one class on it in high school.
yeah, like cell. It's because essentially it's cell animation. It's getting phased out, but it's such a distinctive style of animation, and it's very intuitive.
Hmm.
Nowadays, it's even if it's a 2D model, let's say
Hmm.
it's usually done. It's usually done as a 3D model in a 2D perspective, and then it's all real time animation.
Hmm.
If that makes sense, it's not like predetermined clips.
Okay, that makes sense. I
Like,
think. I'm
well,
picturing
that's
it.
the thing is like the concept's simple enough, but like, does it make sense to do that all the time when it may or may not be what you want, but
Mhm.
you get smoother animation out of it if nothing else. So I guess there's that.
I knew a guy in high school that could move like a poorly animated or poorly done Flash animation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my high school ultimate team. I actually did a sport once upon a time, and like like in a good way. Like he was one of those guys that everyone would be like, oh, there's no way that catch is being made, and then it was like somebody was just like, hold on, and just like animated him sliding in from anywhere else, and he would diving for the catch. Every time, I would always stop and go, huh? Didn't know you could do that, like physically.
There's
I think
some
he
really
joined
good.
the Marines right out of high school.
Hopefully, he went to college afterwards.
I think he did. He was a smart guy.
Good for him. There's a lot of fun stuff like that. There's like I'm not sure if you're how familiar you are with movies and whatnot, but there's a director by the name of Kevin Smith.
Oh yeah, Clarks and such.
Yeah, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jason and Bob Strike Back, plus other things. He kind of transitioned into doing podcasts pretty heavily for quite a while. One of them is Hollywood Babylon that still goes on. There used to be a guy that would do animations like that, but what he would do is he would take Kevin out of one of his movies and then put him in movies where he doesn't belong. So there's a segment they called "What's Kevin."
Okay.
So like they used to do movie posters and stuff a lot. There was a couple guys that were really active and they'd send stuff in like every week, and it dropped off after a while. But the really special guy would actually put Kevin in like the back of cabs, like next to Christopher Walken. I think he had him driving once. There was one like I think he was sitting on a park bench next to Forrest Gump. Stuff like that.
The hell? Okay.
And it's just the fact that you can get the line so clean that he actually looks like he might be there, even though you know your brain's fighting to tell you that he's not there. It was just such a cool thing.
Oh, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it's a skill I could stand to have. But speaking of games and stuff like we used to do, what have we been doing lately? What kind of games and stuff have you been playing lately since we talked last week?
Well, last week I think I just started Ass Creed Origins, and I think I mentioned that. But
really, I thought it was that you liked the game.
No, I did.
Then why'd you call it Ass Creed?
That's the abbreviation. Assassin Ass.
Frank.
Were you not? I guess that's actually just what I've heard people call it. Probably because the abbreviation for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood became Ass Creed Bro, which was just funny to some people.
Ass Creed me, bro. Ass Creed me. No, I'm not a fan of the franchise, but I do recognize significant improvements on this last game, and it's pretty, if nothing else, in a way the other games aren't.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. There's a lot of... I'm actually really impressed at what they did with the quests and such. Like,
that's a common thing I hear.
Yeah, there are quests all over, and every single one of them has a personality. No matter how much I just want to do mindless bullshit, every time they'll give me a justification, or it'll be something a little different that I've done before. And I'm like, God, I miss the days of just tell me to go kill somebody.
Where's my fucking fetch quest?
Yeah, I don't play Assassin's Creed to have to pay attention. I remember I played most of Syndicate at a friend's place. I just went over there with my PlayStation. Whenever we would kind of hang out, not really doing anything, I just hook up my PlayStation and play Assassin's Creed while we talked. I got through most of that game.
So that's a good friend if you can talk that much.
Yeah. I'm ADD as all hell, so like I can't just sit there using only my mouth. I got to be doing something with my hands, in my head at the same time.
So I imagine you're playing on your phone during this right now, then.
No. Whenever I'm on like the phone or something, I pace. It's weird. I just like walk around.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like a polar bear in captivity. Slowly going insane.
Captivity. Poor Frank.
Have you ever seen that?
I've seen polar bears in captivity. They're usually taking naps, I've noticed.
Yeah, apparently, it's in captivity they go insane. Actually, like the space is too small, and so, like at the zoo by my house growing up, we would go, and my mom would explain to me, yeah, you see the one he's pacing back and forth, exact same steps both ways. And it like staves off, like basically they adopt this insane pattern because it staves off the insanity just a little bit.
Okay.
But they lose their fucking minds, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's why a lot of those animals can get teed off pretty quick. I get that. But typically those are animals that come from the wild and that are put in teeny tiny cages.
Yeah.
The polar bears that we used to see at the zoo where I grew up, Omaha Henry Dorley Zoo, they actually had like a big pool they could swim in, and you could actually go up to the glass while they're swimming and look at them like that way.
I've been to the Henry Dooley Zoo once.
Oh, really?
Family in Omaha. It was I think when it was new. I think they were building. I can't remember.
Geez.
I can't remember if I remember the meerkats or if I remember them building the place with the meerkats. So I was very young at the time.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't think you were actually there when it was new because it was built when I went the first time, and I'm significantly older. But the little desert dome is what you're thinking of. And they do have a meerkats exhibit. They actually have two, if I remember right. Like, it's not a petting zone, but there is one that's a lot lower, and then there's one that's like a larger area for them to get away
I
from people.
feel like I definitely remember the Desert Dome, but like I said, I was so young that I don't really remember it. I might have been like 7 or 8.
Okay, so a couple years ago. So the thing
Yeah.
about the Desert Dome, this is definitely a tangent, but I like the zoo enough, that zoo enough. The Desert Zone has the top layer is the Desert Zone. It's very dry and everything in there. It's very climate controlled. But once you go through the desert and go downstairs, it's the Swamp Zone. Do you remember that with the alligators?
I believe I do vaguely.
Yeah, they had like the creaky bridges and stuff you could go over, and like there's always someone screaming in there.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, if they're that close to the alligators, I don't blame them completely. I've got to go back sometime and see if what I think my memories of that zoo, if they're correct, or if I'm thinking of a different zoo, or if it's one of those like, yeah, I just made it my mind made up these memories over time.
I'd actually love to do that trip with you. Like, we just document the whole thing or something. Make an excuse out of it.
Oh, it's fun how much the human brain fucks with its own memories.
Oh yeah, what is it like? Memory is like the most unreliable evidence in trial cases, something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
I'm honestly trying to figure out a way to transition that, and the only thing I could think of was like "Remember Me."
I did get that game for free from PlayStation Plus, and I didn't finish it.
Oh really? Okay. I keep hearing that people are getting monthly free games from PlayStation Plus, and it's like I need to do that, and I remember I don't have a PS4 because I'm not getting any more consoles.
You could fix that. You can get the God of War bundle.
No,
I'll
I
give you
accidentally
access
bought a
to-
PlayStation bundle from Humble Bundle yesterday, and then I was like, "Oh, I don't have this hardware." Shit.
Oh, well, like I said, better fix that.
If I
Like,
don't,
the
if my refund request didn't go through, I think I'm gonna end up giving you some games, because bullshit.
Well, I guess I'll hope your refund request doesn't go through then. Unless I already have all those games.
Well, it's like I was excited about Alien Isolation. I
Got that
like
one.
I like the idea of having the Mega Man Legacy Collection.
Okay.
And then there was one other one. I'll go there real quick just to see what's in there that I was actively excited about because I was like, oh, I want Alien Isolation, I want it. And then pull up Humble, Jesus, because it's the Capcom X Sega PlayStation bundle. Dead Rising and Dead Rising 2 are in here. What was it? Valkyrie Chronicles. I was like, yeah, I'd pay
Valkyrie
15
or
bucks
Valkyria?
for Valkyria, sorry.
Yeah.
Are they different games? Is there a Valkyrie Chronicles as well?
Maybe.
Okay.
I believe it.
So-
I just know I'd heard of Valkyria Chronicles. Never played it. So there's only one dupe in there, actually.
So like I mean those are just the top ones. I mean the base level is Dead Rising, Dust Force, Crazy Taxi, and Super Monkey Ball Banana Splits. Like that's the one you can pay $1 for. And then the second tier is Resident Evil, Mega Man Legacy Collection, Resident Evil Code Veronica X, Sonic Generations, Alien Isolation, and Binary Domain, and that's like $12 right now.
Damn.
And then $3 more you get Dead Rising 2 and Valkyria Chronicles.
I don't know that I'm. I mean, $12 is not a bad price.
No, but we were talking about paying like you were like I'm trying to get you to play Blood Bowl, and I want to let you experience it for free at least once because I could show you footage of me playing, and other people playing, but it's a better game to experience. But I don't want you to have to pay $15 for it. For that same price, you could get all those games. It's such Humble Bundle's such a good deal.
It is. It is. I've bought many a Humble Bundle that I did not need and have not used. I got the. I think I got the. What the hell is it called? The Sony. Not Ericsson. What the hell? Oh, Vegas Pro. I
Oh,
think
you
they're-
did buy
it's their-
that.
Yeah, it's their video editing.
Yeah,
And I've
that's
gotten some of the book ones, as if I will ever read again in my life.
well, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But I actually bought not this last one, the one you're talking about, but I bought it the last time it came up. So that's how I got my current edition of Sony Vegas Pro, which is how I edit together some of my videos, such as bad summaries over on youtube.com/wearemovieclub, where I'll do like 1-minute Minecraft movie summaries.
Oh, damn. Well, and there's a bunch of other cool software that came with that I have to look at. It's one of those things where I was like, okay, this is a permanent license, not one of those like bullshit like 1-year license things that you're not going to use.
It's my
I was
big
like, I
problem
can't
with
pass this
Adobe
up.
Premiere is that like I was essentially renting it.
Yeah, it's why I will never use Photoshop, because it's on a subscription basis, and I'm not going to pay that kind of money to learn something, right? Like, I want to know I have use for it, and then I would buy it.
Yeah,
And I know
that's
that they have a pretty good policy about, like, yeah, we know how many massive percentage of people have a pirated copy and they don't care because it's advertising. But, like, I don't know. I don't want malware either.
well, I promote GIMP in place of Photoshop. It's basically everything you can do in Photoshop, just maybe a little bit more clunky.
Yeah.
It's how I
GIMP
made
is certainly a powerful tool.
all the shitty stuff that you can see on screen right now. For being honest, I accidentally went to this is not an advertisement, but youtube.com/gaming division today instead of gaming division 528, and I saw their fancy site versus my goofy looking one, and I just had a moment of sadness. I was like, oh.
Photoshop versus GIMP.
Well, no, it's just like they just put effort into it, really.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
or they had a good artist or somebody with a good eye. Like, everything I have is basically a stub picture. I'm not an artist, Frank.
Neither am I.
But but I played Mario Paint once.
I don't know that I did.
It was like on the Super Nintendo, and you had like a mouse extension cord for that actually took up a controller slot. It's really sad.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh my god. So you played a little bit of Assassin's Creed Origin. What else?
I've just been keeping up with the usual grinds in Fire Emblem Heroes and Smite.
Smite. Tell us about Smite,
Nothing.
Frank. We've heard you. I think we've heard you go on about Fire Emblems a little bit before, but
Yeah. Smite, for those who
Smite.
don't know, and a lot of people probably don't, it's a MOBA. It's probably in the top 5 in terms of popularity.
it's definitely up there, and I think it's because of the distinctive perspective you have.
Yeah, which is the appeal for me. I don't. We've had this discussion before that I don't really feel the isometric perspective.
Frank shits on isometric.
I do.
He takes big
despite-
triangular poops.
Despite having tried Grim Dawn a little bit recently with some high school friends, it's I just hate not having direct control over everything and being so far away. The frenetic, like, being in there, seeing everything that's happening, is just so much more intuitive to me.
Yeah,
That's the main difference that Smite has over a lot of other MOBAs, is you have pretty much direct control for everything. You move with WASD. Every basic attack is, or we took the term auto attack because pretty much every other game has automatic basic attacks.
sure.
But everything in Smite is a skill shot to some extent.
Okay, and that makes sense. And I've seen that. And its biggest competitor in that respect, though, was Epic's version. What was that?
Paragon?
Paragon, yeah. And
Oh god, I gave that a try. I hated it.
really,
It was so clunky.
it was a little clunky. I'll give you that, but I thought it was a decent game. It's just everyone I had played with is too serious about it.
I could see enjoying it a little bit, but it didn't feel good.
The card
way-
system, I think, held it back too. Did you? Have a good time with
Yeah.
that?
I don't think I got into it at all.
Okay, that's fair.
I
Smite.
think I played maybe a half a dozen to a dozen games.
I take Smite doesn't have that then.
No, Smite has pretty much no RNG except for crits.
Interesting. Okay.
And chests for cosmetic items that don't matter for gameplay.
Okay.
Except for the few skins every once in a while that have certain visual effects that kind of make it harder to see. Some of those have worked against the player. Every once in a while there would be a new skin that's like, oh wow, I didn't realize the visual effects didn't accurately describe that. Or the infamous silent Ra ult. Ra, his ult is a big fucking laser that blasts in front of him pretty long ways. And one of the indications that that's what happened is you hear "waka" or something like that, and one of the skins just you couldn't hear it.
Okay.
If he wasn't like directly on top of you, the sound just didn't travel. It was like this cosmic god version of him, so you would just die, and if you didn't see the laser, you just wouldn't know why. Suddenly 700 or 800 damage.
See, it's a fun
and also
event,
the audio.
but...
Also, the audio indicator is useful because if it gets you in the jungle, you just see a laser between two walls. You don't actually know which side it came from.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that was fun.
And again, that sounds like a good event, but like not obviously a broken mechanic when it comes down to it.
Yeah, it actually ended up not making that big of a deal. It was mostly just a little confusing.
Well, no, yeah, it's like, oh, remember that time where Raw didn't make sounds on his ult? Yeah.
Yeah. He still might not.
Oh, really? Obviously,
yeah.
you don't play him very often.
Well, actually, Diamond with him, I just don't play that skin very often.
Oh,
There's
okay.
one skin in particular that just had that problem because skins have different visual and audio effects.
Interesting.
So.
Okay.
And then there's one character that has an important icon. Any characters that are in a leap or knocked up state, which is crowd control.
What?
She can pull them. She's she's Awilix, the Mayan goddess of the moon.
And she knocks people up?
She does have a knock-up, but knock-up is a crowd control in Smite. It's one of the most powerful because you can't use CC immunity once you're knocked up to get out of it.
Now I'm just picturing
if
like
you're hit by it, just keep going.
Abortion clinic next to the damn store. That's
yeah, it's up. It's up in the air. I knew you were gonna go with that.
My brain won't let go of it. It's just like, yep.
So people get knocked up all the time in Smite, and it's rough. It's real rough. Suddenly
We need new
you just don't have
words.
as much gold.
I'm just picturing like a high school version of all the Smite characters, and then like that's what they do at recess or lunch or whatever is MOBA.
So it's like Muppet Babies, but with like all the various gods.
I think it would be a lot closer
pantheons.
to what is it, the X-Men Teen Years or whatever it was. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like it was all teenage versions of the X-Men. Oh man. But I do feel you on the immersion because I think that's what it is. Is that like when you're in that I think is it first person for you in Smite?
It's third person over the shoulder.
Third person follow, yeah.
Well, yeah, follow. Not over the shoulder. Follow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, over the shoulder to me, over the shoulder is different than follow because follow is centered, and then over the shoulder is what PUBG does, and you can actually switch which shoulder it is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. A lot of third person shooters are over the shoulder. It's it's third person. Yes.
Yeah, so right. I'm with you. So, but I think that helps with the immersion because, like, when I play first-person shooters, like Paladins and stuff, like it's technically advantage in Fortnite. It's technical advantage to play third-person because you can just see more. But it feels better for me to play first-person because I am the character at that point. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, and I think third person is a good bridge. I like to be able to see what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
In a shooter, it doesn't matter usually. You don't have animation cancels to worry about or anything that you can't see. There's all kinds of reload cancels that you can do in a lot of shooters.
There's some things. It depends how they built the game.
But but that's all. You can see everything you need for that. You know, you watch your ammo counter on the bottom. As soon as it changes, doesn't matter where you are in the animation. Like the gun is loaded, so just cancel it and you're good.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Trying to like game it a little bit.
Yeah, that's how I learned about cancels first. Was playing a shooter and noticing that my ammo was full before the reload animation was done. And I was like, well, what if I cancel this, by switching guns? Because I knew, like, oh, it will stop doing this if I switch guns. And, oh, hey, my gun is full, and I didn't have to finish that bullshit.
Yeah, I actually don't like that, personally, but it actually gets factored into the design of the game. So if you were to take a game and then just mod that so that it doesn't work, like, the game would probably be impossible. Like,
there are some characters...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that there are definitely some characters in Smite that animation canceling is very important.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that like that. It tends to be with Smite when you go between basic attacks and abilities. There's often cooldown wind-up frames on basic attacks. But some characters have quick abilities where you can drop a basic attack, cast the ability, and you're immediately ready to drop another one. You don't have to wait for your attack speed to catch up. For the time in between. So one character doesn't have an ultimate, but he has more abilities than most other characters.
Oh, cool!
And he can drop a combo on somebody. He's Uller. I believe he's revered as the Norse god of skiing today, but he's the god of like honor and glory.
So not a burrito combo.
Yeah,
something with fish probably.
Yeah. A little bit. So he just switches back and forth between. He has axes that he can throw and a bow that he shoots. So he can stun people in one stance, immediately flip to the other, and start dropping arrows into people while dropping arrows in between, because his basic attacks are also arrows. It's a fuckload of arrows and a fuckload of damage. But
yeah, I like a fuckload of arrows. It makes it interesting.
Yeah. Timing it properly is real key, because you can, like I said, you can get a whole extra basic attack between every ability.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. This is all about just managing the cooldowns.
Yep.
See, I know how to play some of those games. I just don't care enough to get good. But I understand them academically, and I probably don't have the Twitch performance to be a god at some of these. There
are some secrets to it. I believe if you use what's called quick casting, normally they have a normal casting. You press one of your 4 ability buttons and it lines up the targeter for you, and you can left click to go or right click to cancel.
Okay.
If you like to live dangerously, you can go with instant casting, which is where every time you press a button, your ability will go off immediately without you getting to see the targeter. And then there's the happy medium, which is quick, which is as long as you hold down the button, you can see the targeter and release to fire.
Okay, which I think that's a good idea.
I prefer that. I think a lot of pros play with the normal way. You fat finger a lot less often.
Well, see, and you say the normal way, and I was going to say the normal way to me is the quick fire. That's how I'm used to seeing things in games. That aiming is non-conventional to me.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, and I understand why pros do it. Like I said, you never accidentally fire an ability. I have the problem that when my mouse was going, it wouldn't hold me pressing the 1 button, because I actually mapped all of my abilities to my mouse.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I have a unique mouse that was discontinued, so I'm stuck with it, and if it breaks, I just can't play this game anymore.
That's
not
true.
Years of muscle memory.
I know, but like you could do it if you had to.
If I absolutely had to. I mean, I tried. There was a while where I thought I did, and it was awful. I just could not do it. It was so bad.
Well, there's Fortnite and Paladins waiting for you when you're done with Smite.
Yeah.
Just on a bridge over alligators and crocodiles on both sides.
I might just jump off a bridge at that point.
Well, no, that's the thing, is like jumping off the bridge into either pool is jumping into one of those games that you hate.
Yeah.
Unjustifiably.
That's pretty justifiable.
I don't know. I think you definitely need to give Paladins another shot. It's a different game this day. Granted, I haven't played in a while, or in a few weeks, because I finally got out of habit, because I realized that like I'm earning a bunch of stuff that I can't do anything with, and without other people to have fun and experiment with in the game, I've lost interest. Like I really want to do a 5-man tank squad just to see how badass that would be.
I heard Adam gave it a try.
Motherfucker, I'm gonna slap that bitch.
He hated it and went back to Fortnite.
Well, cause
Getting the John Wick skin in 2 weeks.
yeah, I said he probably just wanted more Fortnite, and he made himself try this thing that wasn't Fortnite, and he was like, "This isn't Fortnite," and he turned it off. That's my impression of Adam.
I mean, he tried Smite too and was like, I didn't feel strong on this character. And I was like, I don't believe for a second that you played that character properly.
No, that's absolutely right. That's what
there's
happened.
no way. There's no way.
Yeah, because it's his
just
first
like,
time
you don't have to feel
playing.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to do it right.
The problem is he was talking about a class. He was like, yeah, this class doesn't feel strong to me in Smite. And I'm like, they do something kind of different in Smite. The carry roll does more damage, I think, in late game than in other MOBAs.
Mm-hmm.
That he's talking about in League of Legends, you can like 2 or 3 shot a squishy. Whereas in Smite, that really only happens if you're really far ahead. And crit builds are a thing, and you have to get lucky with crits. Like you can like maybe 4 or 5 shot somebody if you get a crit every time on a squishy.
But to be
predominantly
fair,
their focus is objectives. They take objectives. They do objective damage.
To be fair, that was his point, is that the mechanic design of it didn't make him feel how he wanted to feel.
Right, but he didn't know that.
No, but that's not the point. Objectively, a game is supposed to draw you in and make you feel immersed and enjoyable in as short a time as possible, so that it maintains that. Let's just call it an addiction.
Yeah.
He didn't get that, so he walked away from it. I'm not saying he couldn't get it later, with some guidance, but
So I see what you're saying. The reason he stuck with Fortnite is because he won, or he did very well in his first few games. So he's like, oh, this comes naturally to me. I'll stick with it.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily that he did well or that he won, but he had a good time. Like he got whatever feeling he felt out of it. Because like early on, we were talking about, and he really liked the part where like you could live or die in the first like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And like I don't enjoy that part of it. It's like I want to start with a sniper rifle and then just plug people from like 100, 200 meters away until they get wise. But
yeah, no, I see both. Like especially the first time, like when I was starting, I think it was way better to start in the thick of things and live or die immediately. Because otherwise, the experience is, alright, I spend 15-20 minutes looting, and then I die. First time I see someone, I die.
And there's 2 strategies to those games. You either play survivalist, where you avoid interaction as much as possible. You play when you have advantage, and typically you win because hell, the other guy's not expecting it, and you get lucky. Or you charge in and you join the melee in the thick of it. And those people get better faster because eventually you have to do that anyways. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's also the best way to start because you get better faster.
No, yeah, and I'm agreeing with you. Is what that came down to.
Yeah.
Because that's why it's because you're forced to build that up time and time again. But like the way I want to play. Like, I want to, like, not interact for a bit. I want to, like, stalk. It's so weird because, like, watching that sort of shit is so boring. But, like, when it comes down to, like, a shooter, if it's realistic at all, that's how I like to play, is really slow. It's weird. But, like Halo, it's like, no, let's spray and pray. I got an overshield.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I never clicked with Halo either.
I never clicked with like Call of Duty and Ghost Recon, and Battlefield, but I had exceptions. Ghost Recon 2, like I played on a squad with friends against the computer, and that was good for me. Like I actually became a pretty good sniper for us there. And then when we swapped up, because it's only fair, I actually did like this forward sniping with a machine gun type thing. So like I put myself on risk, but I got forward close enough and shot enough bullets downrange to distract them so that the other guys can plug them.
Solid strategy.
Yeah,
when that comes together, that just feels good.
Yeah.
I definitely understand the appeal of squad-based
Yeah.
success, but
I miss it. I do want to play more squad stuff, but
I was an
people are
only
busy.
child. Can't live without the opportunity to shine on an individual basis.
Well, outshine us on the team, motherfucker.
No, I just wanna go win.
It's the guy who plays a team-based MOBA.
Yeah, and that's absolutely the worst part about it is the other people.
Damn it, Frank! You sound like me talking about going outside.
Also true.
Let's see. What have I been playing? Fuck, my brain just went out the door with this. I had it all prepped. I promise. I just didn't write it down. If we go backwards, I spent last night playing Oxenfree. I did a one shot of that on the channel. Really interesting. Have you played either Sexy Brutale or Last Day of June?
I do not believe I have.
Any visual novel ever?
I don't think so.
Really, you've never played a visual novel? I've got one for you. Go play Sengoku Rants. It's my second favorite, and it's probably the one that's going to keep your attention the longest.
Okay.
It's a little dirty.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the objective is essentially to not the objective. I'm sorry, but the end result of the story is that you pair up with like one of the other girls at this school. So like the premise is that you have a heart murmur, and so you essentially have a heart attack, and you get transferred to a disability school.
This isn't Katawa Shoujo?
Yeah, that's what I said. Katawa Shoujo.
Oh, okay. I thought we were still talking about Rants.
No. That's another game that I do want you to play. Like, I was gonna say this for the end, like for recommendations and stuff, but we can talk about it now. Okay. Katawa Shoujo is my second favorite visual novel. The first being Syrup and the Ultimate Sweet, which is just cute. But it's definitely worth the replay. Katawa Shoujo is so much longer, but it essentially has like 7 good storylines to play through. So once you play through the first one, you can kind of skip to the next decision and then go from there. You had mentioned Sengoku Rants.
I swear that's what I heard you say.
I meant to say Katawa Shoujo. I apologize if I said Sengoku Rants. Because I've been messing with somebody else. It's like every time I see him, I'm like, Sengoku Rants, just to see his reaction. But I think you've looked into that game a little bit.
No, I just heard the name and I was like, oh, that one. Yep, because I know you'd mentioned it before.
Yeah, it's got some triggerable themes to it, but I know that if you put your mind to it, you would kind of take an elitist approach to it, where it's like, oh, I've got to be X amount of good at this, because it's a really hard game. Like, if people ignore the lewdness of it, it's a really good hard game. It is a strategy game.
It's a double entendre, but
oh yeah, well, the hyper weapon must be fed. But the whole idea is that like you're playing Rants and you come in and you're trying to take over Japan essentially, and it's what they call Sengoku, where it's broken up like Risk, like different territories, and so all the territories are at war. But like you have to declare war, and then you can actually attack certain territories that belong to that clan, and then you can unite. The point is to unite Japan one way or the other.
Okay.
I think a lot of people try to take a strategy of like subjugating everybody, but you can also just like negotiate and create deals between everybody.
Okay. Sounds like a good time.
It's interesting. Like multiple levels. I'll be honest. The only way I've ever come close to beating it, I don't know if I actually beat it, was I had a trainer to actually modify like stuff because I couldn't figure out how to do it right, despite watching walkthroughs.
Oh, well, damn.
Yeah, it can be pretty rough, but like maybe I just didn't get it. It's a possibility.
That's always possible.
So that and Blood Bowl is the other one on the list, and we mentioned that a little bit. It's just football with monsters, breaking skulls, making touchdowns. You know, the good times.
Right.
I think it's really entertaining. Like I really wanted to like. They fucked up when they programmed it. Like they created a thing for replays, but the replays don't take out the dead time. So what I wanted to do is like I wanted to play us, like the people I knew that were playing back then, to play a bunch of games and then do commentary on it, as if like we're announcers.
Okay.
But the replays are so slow because people are sitting there trying to decide what they're doing on their turn. It's like, oh, and he's got a decision ahead of him. Will he go left? Will he go right? He drops the ball right away. Turn over. Like, it's weird at points. And it is like a turn-based strategy. So like whenever you drop the ball, that ends your turn. And you only have, there's 16 turns. So you only have like 8 turns per game.
Okay.
But Blood Bowl's good stuff. I really love it. Now I want to play. It's like I've got the fever hit me. Just going over a couple games that we did play. I mentioned Oxenfree. Oxenfree it's a visual novel without being a visual novel. I keep finding games like this, and I don't know if there's just another way to say these things, but this is literally a game where you make decisions like you would in a visual novel, but you walk around and interact with the environment.
Okay.
So, like, all your decisions are like the Stanley Parable. They're in real time. Does that make sense?
I'm trying to think, because I saw someone play the Stanley Parable, but I didn't play it myself.
Oh my god,
So
you're missing out.
Unless I played for like a little bit.
So the point is in the Stanley Parable is that it's a virtual environment. You just walk around and somebody narrates, and things happen based on where you go and what events you trigger, but it's just you interacting with this environment and then watching it react. And it just reacts with story. And that's kind of what this game does, except it's a little bit more linear. So you start on a ferry, and you can literally say nothing the whole game, I think. But anytime dialogue pops up, you hit either X, Y, or A on a Microsoft controller to choose what you want to say, and then what you say changes the mood of the story, but I don't think it actually changes the major events, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a little bit of sense.
So it was really good. It was really immersive, and it kind of had like a spooky theme to it because the other kids in the group were getting possessed, and like you're trying to save everyone.
Shit, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, it's a bitch. Like, and you had the option to like leave someone behind, and I just wouldn't do it. So it's like, no, I'm saving everyone, motherfuckers, and so the game went on a little bit longer, I think. So it was really good. I'm putting it in that special category with Last Day of June and Sexy Brutale because they're I don't know if it's top games, but they're special games. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they have a specific experience for you.
Yeah, and like I kind of put Journey and Unfinished Swan in that same little grouping. It's not because they're mechanically the same, but because they're special games to me that they may not be the best games ever, but everyone should play them because they're distinct enough.
Yeah, I feel that.
Okay. Also this week we did a one shot on 10 Second Ninja. God, you want to see me fail at a game?
I actually know the game you're talking about.
Oh, really?
Or is it 10 Second Ninja or 10 Second Ninja X?
So I played 10 Second Ninja X. I think I got it on Humble Bundle Monthly. I'm sorry, I played 10 Second Ninja. 10 Second Ninja X is the newer version.
Okay, yeah, I got 10 Second Ninja X for free on PlayStation Plus a while back.
Oh, dicks.
And I just downloaded it and didn't play it. But my roommate just kind of played it mindlessly whenever like we were just all hanging out and couldn't decide what to do. And I watched him get pretty far.
That's an interesting game just to idle play. Like, because to me, it's an intense thing. It's like you really got to try and figure out like what the best thing is, and then you've got to meet like that criteria because you only have 10 seconds.
Yeah, we kind of had the similar experience with it that I remember having with a game called Super Exploding Zoo, which it's not a game that I would call special or unique or good, but I've had a lot of people who have had a memorable experience. We're just watching someone play this puzzle game where these animals go around the zoo exploding in proper sequence to try and prevent the aliens from eating their eggs. And it's just a fuckfest of a concept. But eventually, like, people are just talking, and all of a sudden they realize they're into it, and they're like, whoa, hold on. If you do this, maybe you'll be able to do it fast enough. And all of a sudden everybody's playing. I kind of had that experience with 10 Second Ninja, and that, hang on, maybe if you go this way, you'll be able to get, because we always went for the 3 stars.
Yeah, and that's how you should play that game, and like I'm not that good at precision platforming. I'm just really not. So like I played through the first level and I 1-star, 2-star to everything. Got to the 3rd level, but I couldn't get to the boss because I didn't have enough stars. So I went back and did better in the 1st level, and then got to the 3rd, and then like that pattern kind of followed.
Okay.
But I didn't have that group or that culture, that friend circle like giving advice. I would have been great to have. Because some of it was just like, can I do this? Bam, bam, bam. I guess not. But it was really cool to see that. Dust Force was the other one I did this past week, and that actually would have been a good one for that sort of thing too. Now they may actually be by the same people now that I'm thinking about it, because there is a Dust Force like DX or X or something as well. Now that I'm thinking about it, they have a lot of similarities to them.
I'm not familiar with either one.
Well, I'm saying like 10 Second Ninja and Dust Force, like as franchises. They both.
Oh, I thought. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say they both they both learn from the same school as Super Meat Boy. Like, maybe they took some pages out of his school book even, but because it's all about precision platforming and doing like things a certain way.
If you're gonna cheat off somebody's test, Super Meat Boy's test is not a bad one to cheat off of.
It's really not. It's honestly, like, I can't think of another precision platformer that does not involve combat. Like, that's on the same level as Super Meat Boy, anyways.
Yeah, I suppose they're technically the boss fights, but yeah.
The boss fight that I remember was like him running away from someone chasing him. I didn't get very far.
Yeah, I know there was one with a derpy whale, there was a giant meat monster.
Okay, that's that's awesome. So I could see that. I could see like maybe the 10 Second Ninja would stuff would fit like that. Dust Force was interesting because like Super Meat Boy was very floaty.
Yeah.
Like, and that was kind of the point of it, is that him being floaty allowed you to do all these ridiculous things. Dust Force was equally heavy, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, you're carrying around like a broom or a vacuum or whatever, like the whole time you're playing, because your objective is to clean the level, and then finish as quickly as possible. So, like, all your jumps and everything all feel weighted. So it's like you can never quite get there. It's like they kept the proportions from Super Meat Boy, but they scaled them down. Does that make sense?
I think so.
I
don't know if what I'm picturing is accurate, but I've got a picture.
Dude, like I'm telling you, on the video, I said the same thing, and like I'm doing I'm demonstrating it. I'm still unsure about like how I'm phrasing it, because it's just an awkward feeling. It's not how I imagine platformers should be. So I mean that's pretty much what I've been playing for the week. We've actually gone a whole hour. Do we still want to do the inventory mocking or whatever? Do you want to save that?
We could save that for when we don't have anything to talk about.
Okay. Neither one of us really have board game stuff to talk about this week.
I mean, a little bit.
Oh, go for it.
Amazon had their big sale.
What?
Unlike Monday. Somebody texted me that it was newsworthy, apparently, that they were having a big sale for like one day only. So I did the responsible thing and spent like $350.
Jesus Christ, Frank.
I got like $600 or $700 worth of stuff there.
No, okay, I'm with you. Like, if someone had told me, because Amazon didn't tell me either, I probably would have picked up some things, and it probably would have just been like expansions, like Dominion expansions, Ascension expansions, and stuff.
So it wasn't on everything, so I actually bought a lot of stuff that I hadn't been looking at before.
Oh, okay.
I got a lot of like the designer type stuff that was normally like over $100 for like $50.
Oh, wow.
So
did you get your Blood Rage expansion?
I did not, because that wasn't on sale.
Ah, okay.
I also I was going to actually buy God of War, and that's when I found out like definitively that they discontinued the whole new game discount on Amazon.
Oh yeah. That was a while back.
I guess, yeah, shout outs to the Best Buy one, I guess, since that's like the only one that I think still offers that discount.
I don't like Best Buy. Don't buy physical discs. Download.
But I vastly prefer having a physical disc.
Frank, I thought we liked each other. What happened?
Nothing beats being able to hold it in my hand.
That's what she said. But in relevant news,
that was a softball I lobbed at you.
I know. I'm laughing way too hard at my own joke. That was not that funny. But no. I prefer all digital all the time. But I'm also a PC Master Race guy. I'm not gonna shit on you for having a console, but I'm not gonna agree with you ever about it.
But I get to play Bloodborne.
No, and by far that's the huge advantage to having consoles exclusives.
Yeah.
Like I keep bringing up Until Dawn because if someone gave me a PS4, because I wouldn't buy one at this point, that would be the first thing I bought. It would be Until Dawn. And then maybe oh god, I don't even know what else I would go for. Like maybe Disgaea was the first thing that came to mind.
Damn.
Wow. Like I just blanking on every exclusive because I've just been ignoring it for so long. Because either eventually it'll come to PC or I'll cry.
If you're trying to picture, Xbox exclusives, there isn't anything right now.
There is actually one game that I really want that's only available on Xbox One. It's called Slash Dash.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Scalebound for a second, and I was like, oh, nope, they canceled that.
Oh, yeah. I think that was actually on my list. I was excited about it. No, it's imagine Towerfall, but isometric ninjas.
You said isometric.
I know.
Instantly unsold.
Okay.
Instantly unsold.
But, like, you can handle the 2D platforming of Towerfall.
I don't know if I've ever played Towerfall.
Really? God damn, we need to do a video games day. Um, we need a game together, Frank. That would be great. Fuck. Would it be worth?
What's your stance on digital board games?
I
Since you
like
don't like
digital
physical
board
copies
games.
of video games.
I've actually
Really?
made a couple. um,
What-
so you
I
go ahead.
I was just saying, like, having used tabletop sim to play stuff like Sentinels, to cross the distance between with the folks that I used to play with. God, there is nothing like just sitting down and playing with a physical copy. Like,
Now,
I couldn't get my friends to buy the actual digital version. They actually made a game out of the Sentinels of the multiverse card game.
okay,
They've got their own ongoing, like every week there's a new comic, that comes out and has a special situation that you got to fight through. And I could not
Okay.
get them to buy it because they're like, man, the physical sensation of holding cards though.
I don't think that's it. I know that it does make a difference, but I think it's the idea of like your perception of being with people in person. Like it makes you feel like you're actually doing something when other people are around for you to conform.
I would
What?
disagree. Like I just have to say it just doesn't feel the same to have to use my mouse to operate cards.
No, I'm
Like,
not
I will
saying that's not a
never be as
factor.
fast.
But I'm saying it's not the determining factor. I'm saying psychologically we're built that like we can do something we think is stupid if we have people around to conform to. Because you're like, well, they're all doing it. I can do it. But when you're by yourself using a piece of plastic to interact with a computer to send electronic signals across the country to people who may or may not be there.
But why wouldn't I have that with video games?
But I'm just saying like there's a thing like and video games are designed differently. They're designed to engage. So typically like if we're what's a video game you play with more
games
than
are designed to bore people.
well no but like they're typically like turn based. That's where a lot of board games are. There's not a lot of games that play simultaneously. So
I mean, there's just an efficiency factor to it, if nothing else. I will never be able to, manipulate everything in tabletop sim as quickly as I can just do it in real life. Just grab it and do it.
oh, and I disagree wholeheartedly. I think I can do things a lot faster in tabletop simulator at this point. Not when I first started, but now I know it well enough that I can do things a lot quicker. You can deal cards faster. I know for a fact I can flip and peek cards pretty well at this point. I can move the camera around even pretty well because I've had to do that for a couple shoots.
But just like the act of looking at your hand, right? Like say like you're
I'm
zoomed
good.
out, looking at the board, right?
Mhm.
Like I can look in real life. I can have a bunch of cards in my hand. I can see all of them at the same time, and especially if I'm familiar with the cards, know exactly what they all do. Right, and I can even read a quick refresher if I need a reminder. Like the text is visible. Like I can read a little bit of it.
Yeah, and
Right?
and
When
there's
I'm in tabletop
shortcuts to
sim,
do
I have
that.
to choose. Like I have to choose between like being zoomed out and like seeing everything,
And-
or looking at each card individually. And yeah, you can do that pretty quickly. And there are the shortcuts and everything.
Yeah, so there are shortcuts to enlarge the cards and items and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm all for that. But I understand your perspective regardless. Like it is different. It's not what you learned on. It's not how you originally did it. Certain ways going when it comes down to it, one way of doing the same thing two different ways is going to be better than the other.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of it, and so like you've figured that out for yourself. Where I'm just I want the stimulation of playing the game. Like I don't care about the interface as much. It's not a factor to me.
I suppose it could also be that they are just the appeal of pieces. Right, like people like collecting cards, right? There's something about it.
Yeah, there definitely
Right,
is.
that appeals to a lot of people, right? Like if I own a physical copy of the card game or the board game, like I can sit there and go, look at all these cards. Like I can just sit there and look at these cards. Yeah, but like when you have them in a game, like it's just not the same.
And
Like I had Yu-Gi-Oh cards as a kid, right? And playing the Game Boy Advance version, like it doesn't matter if I got the rarest card in the world, like it's just not the same as having a physical, like, it wasn't even as good as having a physical copy of some less rare cards, which all got stolen from me at one point. God, fuck those kids.
Shit.
Anyway.
But no, I like, and I'll actually agree with you to a point here. Like, but there's an investment that happens when you buy into collections like that. Like, it's one of the reason why you keep collecting is because you're like, oh, there's values in this. I've invested $5. I can't stop now. Like, otherwise my $5 are wasted. So I'll put more in. And
that's
like,
sunk cost fallacy.
what?
That's sunk cost fallacy, though.
No, that's not a fallacy at all. Like, there's investment into things. When you put $300 into a card collection, you don't want to quit that game. But how you stay relevant in that is that you keep buying into it. It's a business model.
Right, it's a business model, but it's based on the sunk cost fallacy. The idea that people get trapped in this idea that because they've invested, they have to keep investing, right? Or it's not worth it.
Now,
right,
maybe that applies to other things, but to card games, I've seen those people. Those people are real, Frank.
Yes, they are. That doesn't mean the logic is right. Like, yes, it's a fallacy because it exists.
No, if it was a fallacy, that would mean it would disprove it.
Well, but no, it's just bad logic. A fallacy is just bad logic.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Is your point of the sunk cost fallacy that they think they're trapped when they're not? Is that what you mean?
They're not literally trapped. They're psychologically trapped.
Yeah, they're using it as an excuse to keep doing it.
Right, they're caught by this idea
we're agreeing,
that they're trapped, but they're not actually trapped. Right, like at any time they can just walk away, and it's not that they lose the money they've spent. That money is already gone.
Yes.
Right, but there's this idea that this money is still there, and they keep it as long as they keep investing.
Which was exactly my point, and I didn't realize that we were agreeing. I apologize, Frank.
Yeah.
But that's the thing on Tabletop Simulator too. Is like when they just walk into this thing like it's all free, they don't give a shit. But if they put money into it, they care about the things they've put money into. But like on Tabletop Simulator, it doesn't matter. It's not real. It's all fake. I can duplicate it. It has no value, and it's a mentality of thinking. I think I also have a disproving of that as well, if I may. I can't tell you how many times like people pick up my $60, $100 card sets and then treat them like they're a $2 deck of playing cards.
Oh, people just don't have a sense of value, right? Like for other people.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, and
but if it's your stuff, you have a sense. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, and I try to be conscious of that. Like when people have I'm always sort of like, when someone hands me cards, I'm like, should I shuffle these? Right? And like I know like my deck of Star Realms cards is all beat up because I just shuffle them. Like I try not to like let people get like grease and food on them. Right? And in hindsight, maybe I should have invested in card sleeves, and I might actually. Once the final set comes, I might just get card sleeves for everything.
Final set? Did they announce that's going to be the last?
Well, okay, maybe it's not the last one.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's news, Frank.
No, there's probably still money to be made. I mean, it's got kind of that like final feel to it. But it's not called the Last Frontier or the Final Frontier, is it? It's called.
I don't remember.
I think it's just Frontiers.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't able to get on this Kickstarter, so I ignored it.
Yeah, I think the plot is it's like something like warp gate technology or whatever that they invented that allowed them to explore new territories of space. And so that's why you got all these new ships and all these new conflicts or whatever. I don't know. The fluff doesn't actually matter that much.
It really doesn't, but it's still a fun game.
Yeah. And I appreciate that they have it. I think it makes even if you never see it, it makes everything fit together that much better. I would say Sentinels does the same thing. Right? Yeah. Like it's based on this entire universe of comics that I've never seen, and I have no idea how I know so much about it.
See, that's how I felt about Super Dungeon Explorer.
They're going on about these interactions, and it's just like, how do I know that? That's actually not. Where is that written down? I have no idea.
It's all subtext in the cards. It's how I felt about Super Dungeon Explorer for a while too, because they didn't used to have all the backstory. Like they had some stories about the Dragon Peaks and Rocksword Caverns, and then they created bosses to match those. Like Starfire used to be the only boss. And then they had this little story about Rockstone Caverns there because that was the other pieces of the tiles on the first game. So they eventually released him as a boss with these other baddies. I think it was the turtles.
Fuck
and
the
then
turtles.
yeah, exactly. They used to suck. Tetsudo Tower makes them great. And then there was some story about like Von Drack, I think, that came out in the stuff for Roxor. So Von Drack Manor was the next expansion. And then they put in some characters from their other games into the Super Dungeon Explorer, but once they realized that caught on and that got people building a community around the game, like they leaned into it hard. So now there's text everywhere. And they built like a whole planet. It's like a Pangea continent, but so I think by the time Super Dungeon Legends comes out, they'll have all the princesses out.
Okay.
I don't think we've ever had this discussion. There's like different like elemental types, like the amethyst, citrine, emerald, ruby, like the crystal affinities. So there's Princess Emerald, Princess Amethyst, Princess Ruby. I think Emerald and Ruby are the two that are out right now. And so like by the time Legends finishes up, like all of them will be out. So there'll be a princess for each super gem or whatever, like from the 5 realms of the continent. As much as I love the game, the fluff's a little weak in places.
Yeah, I know. You can't do everything perfect.
No, but I think that was part of their point, is that they wanted to fix that for Legends, because again, like they've built a community around this game, and people are running campaigns on their own, as it is, to try to keep things alive and going, and so Legends is just something they made to help support that thing that already exists.
Okay. That's pretty neat, though, that everybody got like on that train.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's conceptually, I'd like to see that happen in more things, but at the same time, when do you stop throwing dirt on the pile? Like, when is your castle big enough?
Yeah. When people stop throwing money at it.
Well, no, that's the business answer. Like, if that's for, like, how much money do we want to make off this? But, like, would you rather... I almost would rather, like, I leave with the franchise in a good spot, so I can always point back and say, I made that. I helped make that what it is. I can do it again.
I would still take, like, expansions to Sentinels forever. You know, like, I'm kind of bummed that like the expansion that was supposed to be out last January in 2017 that still isn't out yet is the last one. Just because, you know, I would always take more. Like even if they were of lower quality, like they released, you know, 4 new heroes, 4 new villains, and 2 environments every year, and only like 1 or 2 out of each set was like good, I'd still take that over not ever getting any more. Right, like even the worst characters in the game are still fun for sometimes.
And
everyone wants Bunker to be good.
That shows you how much you love that game. It's like you don't even want it good; you just want more. Yeah. And I don't know if I feel the same way or if it's just this completionist OCD I have for board games. But like Super Dungeon Explorer, like every time they release another fucking resin model, I'm like, order. It's why I have the guy.
Not like I can't.
It's a problem, Frank. I promise you.
I know.
I think I am going to go ahead.
I just can't get expansions now.
God, I think I am going to go ahead and get the cases I want, because here's my dilemma. This is totally games related. This is why we're still talking about it on the podcast here. I found. Do you remember the little cardboard case I brought over? I brought it over last time.
Vaguely.
Yeah, so it's like, you've seen the Super Dungeon Explorer cases I have. Like, the big flat one is the old full case for Citadel for Games Workshop.
Yeah, the one that looks like you've got a Stinger missile inside it?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And it's got the nice strap. And then there's the other one that looks like a bomb case that's a little bit more upright, that has the horrible foam in it where all the big models are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the more current but still old version of the Citadel cases for Games Workshop. They don't even sell them anymore. That's how bad they are. But like I bought one to really see what it was, and I guess it worked for what I needed to. But I found Feldherr, and I bought that little cardboard box, and it came with foam in it, and so it's like the flat case, except it's like a half case, and I've had the half cases before, and the cardboard's not gonna like not get damaged when you drop it on asphalt, but it'll do the same job of keeping all the models safe and controlled inside. So I want to get more, but the American store doesn't sell the pieces I need. So in order to order from the Canada store or the European store, whatever it is, to get it shipped here for free, I have to spend like $240 American.
Damn.
And that's just like on cases and foam and shit.
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough that the games I'm into either have their own special proprietary case, like Star Realms is coming out with one, Sentinels is coming out with one. I don't have to worry about it. When I start getting all the Fantasy Flight expansions, though, I might have to worry about it.
So for Fantasy Flight stuff, because they have notoriously bad boxes, I swear they have a deal with this company. Look at Broken Token. They come out with incredibly good customizable box options. And I think they used to partner with a company that did custom foam as well. That's not Feldherr, even though Feldherr does custom foam for like Super Dungeon Explorer and Games Workshop stuff. Honestly, if I could remember the other company that did the custom foam for Soda Pop miniatures, I would look into ordering from them instead. But and then I could order the boxes and then fill them with the foam. Because that's the other thing about these boxes I like, is that like I'm actually going to order empty cases and then order the foam I want for them. And then I think the way I do it, I've got to order 2 carry bags, essentially, and then each one will have 3 large cases, so twice the size of the one that I brought over. And then that, like, one of those should be enough for all my Ninja All-Star models. I only need a half for my Rail Raider models. And then I can just put all the Super Dungeon Explorer shit in those. And by the time Legends is finished, I'm going to need all that space that I'm talking about ordering.
Yeah, so, it sounds like it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of waiting for it to get here.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for the big Sentinels case. It's going to hold every card. Of course, it won't hold all the other Cauldron stuff I have, which is a third-party expansion.
Oh, okay.
At least I don't think it will. I think it has just exactly enough for every card. We'll see.
That would
get lucky.
That would be smart, but at the same time, they seem like a company that loves their fans, and they would make room for that.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how quote unquote official it is. They do have a deal where some of the proceeds of the third party expansions go to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have a deal like drive through cards, and you go in there, you order it, they print it and get it to you in like 2 or 3 weeks. And then Greater Than Games, the developers of Sentinel, get actually money from that. That was part of the deal for allowing them to have it be printed.
Okay, cool. There might be like little deals like that for like Broken Token too, where it's where it's like you can put our name on your products and say that it's for this if you give us 1% of your sales or something like that. Because these companies aren't, as far as I can tell, greedy companies. They do it because they love it.
Yeah, you don't go into board games because you're greedy. You're not a very good greedy person if that's why you're going into board games.
Yeah, people who go into board games love it, or they think they have $1 million idea and they're a programmer, and they think they can find the most efficient way to make the game correctly and then how to sell and market it. That's usually how the stories go.
Yeah, I could see myself accidentally getting into it or intentionally getting into board game design. I would definitely enjoy it. Yeah. I don't know if I have good ideas, but everyone likes to think they do.
Well, I wouldn't mind walking through some of that with you, and I wouldn't like poach it. Like I've got my own ideas that I'd love to test. If you've got time sometime. But if you go on Tabletop Simulator, you and I are friends on Steam, obviously, so you should be able to see those if you want to poke through them. Battle Princesses is not ready, but the other ones should be. It's like my favorite idea I've ever had, and I can't seem to get it right. And it's all cards. It's all the assets are cards, so it takes forever to fucking work on. And then on top of that, the Super Dungeon Explorer thing's killing me because I found all these online assets for the cards that I want to use to update my existing ones and some of the ones that are coming out for 2.0 and Legends. So it's going to take like a month to get it all done. It's just the reality of it. And that's if I concentrate on it. So I've got to set aside time amongst everything else I'm doing.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, let me know if you want to play with GIMP or learn GIMP. It would actually be a really good way to learn GIMP if you want to play with it at all. But I'm not pressuring at all. I wouldn't expect anyone to want to do this. I barely want to do it.
I did mess with GIMP a little bit when I was I experimented with making a deck of Sentinels cards at one point.
Ooh.
God, that was a lot of effort.
So, yeah, it really was.
Through all of playtesting and art, so fuck, art is so hard. If I was an artist,
that's the thing. Is like I can lay out cards well enough. Like I know how to layer and do things that way. But I can't draw for shit. So it's so frustrating just to be like, I know what's in my head and I want to make it here, but I can't. Sorry, you can't see me, so I'm just crying.
Same.
So it's like, that's always been like the dream is like one day I'll find an artist lady that I'm like, we'll love each other and we'll work on projects together.
That's the dream.
Frank, don't talk to me like I'm gonna die alone. At least lie to me.
I mean, how do you know I wasn't talking to me like I'm gonna die alone?
Because you're not important. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so now that we've depressed anyone who is actually watching this video, how do you feel? You feel
pretty
like
good.
You feel you're like, this is about as depressed as normal.
It's even slightly above baseline, I'd say.
So what I meant to say was like, how do you feel about what we talked about? Do you feel good? Do you feel like we talked quite a bit?
I mean, the time has blown by, so I can't say I'm displeased.
Yeah, it's always good talking with you about stuff, and like we actually came in with a plan, like that backup plan for like when we run out of topics finally, but not this week.
When the silence gets awkward.
You know? Yeah. What do we say to death? Not today. Anything real quick going out? Anything that you were planning on playing that's remotely special in like the next week or two?
2 weeks is a long way off. I don't even plan tomorrow before I get there.
Well, I was just saying, like, if we missed doing this next week, which I'll talk to you about when we close, like, would there be something like just on the other side you'd want to mention, like Infinity Ward just came out, and like maybe you haven't seen it. Like, if we're talking movies, like you'd want to have seen it by the next time we talked. Is there a game like?
Oh,
that?
I already have tickets for Sunday.
Well,
but
yeah.
I mean, like I said, I spent however much on board games, so I've got some new stuff that I gotta take a look at.
Oh yeah, it'll be in by this weekend, won't it?
Oh yeah, 8 of the things already came.
Oh, cool. Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Get your account now.
Yep.
And if you
Actually,
do,
9 of them.
pay attention to your Twitch desktop because you'll get free games every month. In fact, I'm going to open it up and see if I happen to have anything, because it's always a nice surprise. Do you do this, Frank? Now that I actually have someone else to talk to about this?
I mean, I am a Twitch Prime subscriber.
So do you get your free loot every month?
I remember to check it every 3 or 4 months.
You're missing out. You can't leave it every month. Set up a calendar alert or something to at least do it once a month for real.
I've just got a habit in doing it once at all. I just do it in the Twitch interface usually while I'm watching a streamer because there's a notification icon.
Yeah, and you can do it there. But like if you do it like from the desktop, like you have the option like to install and everything right away. So like it used to be I think that like it wouldn't notify you through the browser. Like you had to install Twitch desktop because they were desperate to get people to do it.
Hey, didn't they buy out Curse Voice or something?
I think Curse. I think they merged with Curse. I didn't know if it was Curse Voice. I don't know what the official name was, but
Okay, Curse Voice was what was the official voice chat partner of Smite for a while, and then I turned it to Twitch and I was confused.
yeah. So yeah, that's definitely what happened. They bought Curse. So normally you open it up and like it's right there, and the thing is that if you don't utilize it, it disappears on you. They do not hold it for you like Humble Bundle Monthly. Very different services.
Okay, yeah, looking at it, I've got. Oh wow, I've got Kingsway, and I bought Kingsway
Oh, cool.
recently.
Give that away. That's a good gift as far as I'm concerned. Like, don't give it to me. I already have it. But if somebody you know doesn't have it, like that's a good way to go.
The Twitch one?
Well, because you get a key, don't you? Or am I thinking Humble Bundle? Maybe I'm thinking Humble Bundle.
I mean, like if I think I just bought it for myself either on Steam or I already redeemed the Humble Bundle key.
Oh,
Like
no,
it's
no.
installed. I'm looking at the shortcut on my desktop.
Yeah, I made a mistake. You can't give away your Twitch earnings.
There's Tokyo 42, Tales from the Borderlands, Heavy Bullets, Steam World, Dig 2, Dub Wars, and Devil May Cry HD Collection.
Yeah, some of those came out pretty recently. Like Dub Wars
Oh, I
is a
didn't know about
weird
the last time I checked.
thing. Tokyo 42 actually looked interesting. I think Judge is on there for the latest one. It's like Judge with a Y. I
So
can't remember.
Yudge?
Say again?
So Yudge?
Judge, maybe.
Oh, like JYU?
Yeah, JYD. Maybe that's not Tokyo 42 is Shadow Tactics. Oxenfree is where I got that. Super Hot came out again somewhat recently, but Dub Wars. This is where I got Devil May Cry as well, the HD collection. Oh, Kingsway. Never mind. I was thinking Kingdom. Fuck Kingsway. It's just my opinion. But and then
I haven't tried
Headlander.
it yet, so.
Go ahead.
I haven't tried it yet, so I have no opinion yet.
It was, I don't know. I just didn't have a good time with it. Hopefully you do. I'd much rather people enjoy a game than people have people agree with me. If I'm being completely honest. The only time
I
that's
prefer people agreeing with me.
well, it's sometimes it's like I just hate this. I don't want anyone else to feel this way. So like I'd rather people enjoy it than agree that it's bad. But the only time that the exception to that happens is when it comes down to it as a business. If I don't want people supporting the product so they make more of it, then I want people to agree with me. But
Okay. I feel like Nago from Princess Mononoke, so.
See, I'm supposed to remember that, and it's been too long.
This became a meme in high school for me. I'm not surprised that nobody else remembers the line that he has. It's the boar demon that gets shot at the beginning. He has the line about disgusting creatures. Now you will suffer as I have suffered. I prefer to know that other people endured the same pain.
Well, now we know who's Frank's personal heroes are. Oh, thank Frank. Okay, I have a plethora of games that I've been trying to get through. Hopefully I can get through like 2 or 3 or more a week, depending upon how bad some of the experiences are. Like I have a feeling I'm gonna knock through some of these platformers coming up, because that's what I did this past week. Like N plus plus is on here, Super Meat Boy. I probably won't do Super Meat Boy if I'm being honest.
N plus plus. They
Yeah.
remade it again.
Say again? Oh yeah.
They remade it again. I remember playing N plus on the PSP after playing N on the addictinggames.com.
Right on. Black the Fall, I'm actually looking forward to playing. Headlanders on here, Owlboy, Splasher, Momodoro, Flashback, Tesla Grade.
Boy, the one that was disappointing.
Probably. Like, it was a huge deal and then it just nothing.
Yeah.
But that's what's on my radar right now. Instead, like, I'm looking to the left, I'm seeing like Darkness 2, Overlord, Tacoma, some other shitty games, Deus Ex Mankind, Divided. I could see me playing Silence. I'm thinking about it, and AER Memories is definitely up there for games I want to play. It reminds me a lot of Journey. But Humble Bundle Monthly's coming up, so I'll probably get like 5 more new games before I end up playing 5 more games.
Yeah, that's why I can't get caught up in that. I'd never catch up.
I'm okay with that, but I also share my library with some kids. So if they were smarter, they would actually use it. But they dumb.
They dumb. All right.
As far as that's concerned, they're smart kids for the most part. They're just lazy. That one I don't mind putting out there. Be less lazy, kids. I've got to start coaching a couple of them on their YouTube streams because, oh my god, I felt so bad watching it. He's actually filming his TV with his phone.
Oh.
Like old school rage quit. So, and they're talking about getting him a tripod to hold the phone up, and it's like, oh, just fix it. Because if I can figure out what he's playing on that goes to the TV, then either it's a computer where we can use OBS, or if it's a PlayStation, which it probably is, then you can just stream from that.
Yeah.
So I just don't think he's aware. They don't like to research things.
Yeah.
So I'll end up talking with him at some point.
That's just painful. That mental image. Why did you give that to me? What did I do to you?
It's like I just looked at it and I was like, no, because I couldn't get in my head what he was talking about when I was talking to him on the phone, and I'm just like, but you're playing from your phone, and he's like, yeah. So then, what does your camera angle matter? Like, what do you for your face cam? He's like, I have a face cam, but I'm not using it. I'm like, what does that mean? I don't understand you, child. But like his go-to spot to play is like the top bunk of a bunk bed, and the TV's mounted on the edge of the bed. So it's cool, but I just don't. It's like, no, we're working so hard here.
Yeah.
But give us a month. I'll have him fixed up. Okay, so we really gotta go. We've been on here for far too long, and Frank, you don't sleep enough as it is.
That's true, and that will probably never change until I'm dead.
Oh, but Frank, if we don't get you
sleep when I'm
sleeping, we're gonna buy you like a big teddy bear or something to cuddle with, to like choke you out when it's time to go to bed.
Choke me out.
So it's just gonna like sleep, and then you're gonna pass out, and you'll wake up in the morning refreshed.
If you say so.
Oh, so I am Kamurai. This has been a little bit of game talking here at the Play Spot. With me today has been Thank Frank.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you for watching and listening, however you consume this. Until you see us next time, it's game over. I want to see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations, and they'll take you to our other channels. Thanks for watching.